So I have a tendency to read newspapers, and one of the papers that I like to read is the New York Times. And a few weeks ago, there was an article that ran that said, "Why is personality profiling bad?" And I read the headline, and I said, "Oh, do I really want to read this article? I don't know." I wasn't looking to be depressed that particular day, but under the adage that any publicity is good publicity, I figured, well, it's probably in my best interest to read what this article says and see what I can learn from it and take a perspective on it. So it turns out it was a really interesting article, and the person that wrote it was a self-described introvert. And the example that they used was when they were working in an office that did a personality profiling exercise as part of a team building exercise. It showed that their personality style was an introvert. And the author continued to talk about that once their manager knew that they were an introvert, the manager utilized this information to beat them up over being an introvert. And I said, well, that's kind of interesting. What the author is saying is that their manager, armed with accurate data, became a worse manager, which I believe that. I can certainly believe that a bad manager armed with new data can become worse. However, I think it's interesting to think about the fact that they recognize that the data drove action. And after all is said and done, that's what we talk about all the time, is actionable data. And whether the manager is able and capable of utilizing this information in a positive way to be able to understand the nature of this person, that in fact they are not a high extrovert, and maybe the manager needs to stop expecting them to be a high extrovert, and to be able to learn how to take advantage of the nature of the person's strengths. Or if the manager is going to utilize that information to just beat the person up and be a worse manager, I think we have to go with data. We have to give the nod to data. And we need to recognize that in the world of managers, there'll be a lot of managers that can take good advantage of good data. And yes, will there be managers that will take negative advantage of data? Probably. And maybe if you're the person working for that manager, maybe that's something that you need to learn as a result of the experience. So, we're going to lean on the side of providing managers good, accurate data and guidance and advice from our part to them to be able to help them use that information in the most positive way to create an environment that is positive, productive, and the kind of place where everybody likes to show up to go to work. Thanks for listening.